All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Saturday to everyone out there. It is January 14th. We got 7 games on the NBA slate. We're going to jump into each and every game. I'll give you what I'm thinking. Give you my lean, my final plays, though, what I'm actually going to be rolling with tonight. If you guys want to ride with me or if you want to fade me, check the pinned comment throughout the day. We'll be updated by game time. We're coming off of a 1-0 night. Last night, we had the Warriors. They got the job done. And then we had our ride of the day also come through for us, coming in from my man Alfred. He had the Nuggets and the Clippers under 223. Let's pump in some crowd noise. That makes it a 2-0 night for us last night. That game finished at 218. Nuggets won 115 to 103. So the under cashed as well. Guys, if you do want to be the ride of the day and get a shout out in the next video, all you got to use is hashtag ride of the day in the comments and give me an absolute lock. I'll be jumping on board with someone's play in the pin comment, and then you guys get a shout out, win or loss, in the next video. Make sure to do that. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump into the first game here. We have the Heat hosting the Bucks. Heat 4-point favorites. Total is way down there at 214. I've actually seen on a couple sports books this at 213 as well. What we have access to right now, 214 is the total, but -4 Heat. Total 214 is a very, very low number. Last time these two teams played was a couple nights back, and Miami won 108 to 102. It was a 6-point spread. That game was a push. That was the only time they met this season, but Miami's playing well. Last 5 games at home, 3-1-1 against the spread. And this Bucks team, you know, they're playing okay on the road, 3-2-1 in their last 6 against the spread, but they're only 5-4-1 against the spread in their last 10 here. Miami playing a little bit better. Giannis Antetokounmpo out tonight. So what does that mean? We're leaning Miami in this one. If it's going to be a pin comment or it's going to be a final play, make sure to keep an eye on the pin comment. No Kyle Lowry for the Heat. Tyler Hero is questionable, but Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, they look good to go, even though they've kind of been on the injury report on and off as of late. But no Giannis here. Obviously, no Middleton still for the Bucks. I'm going to lean Miami. They've won 3 of the last 4 games. They're playing good basketball. They only lost to Brooklyn by 1.2, so they've just been playing some good basketball. I'm leaning Miami -4 in this one. In terms of a total, you have no idea how badly I want to pull the trigger on the over. So we're going to lean over. But I just got to make sure that isn't like the, touch the boat Nemo style where it's so tempting and you go and touch the boat and then all of a sudden you're putting a fish tank in like a dentist's office, right? That is so tempting. It could be a trap. So we'll see about the over. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if we actually pulled the trigger on that one. Moving on, guys, we got the Hornets taking on the Celtics here. This Hornets team, 8 points they're getting 8 points at home. Total sitting at 232. They played in November here. 142-105 was the final score. Boston absolutely took it to them. That was the only meeting this season. The Charlotte team, 2-6-2 against spread in their last 10 games. They're 2-8 straight up. No better at home. In their last 4 games, 1-3 against the spread. And the Celtics team, I think they're starting to get it going. They've won 5 straight. Dallas, San Antonio, Chicago, New Orleans. Brooklyn was a good win. No Kevin Durant, though. So, there's a mix of non-talent and talent within there. But this Celtics team did slide for a little bit. Then they got it back. They got it going. And now they've won 8 out of their last 10. And I actually think even more than that. So even though this is a decent number, I'm going to take the Celtics here on the road. They're 5-0 in their last 5. I think they're playing good basketball. Celtics -8. Not because I'm a Boston Celtics fan, but I do think that this is a spot where they can win this one. And then in terms of total, 232. I think that this one goes under based on how the Celtics have been playing. They're holding teams to 105, 115, 111, 114, playing good basketball on the defensive end, allowing or not allowing teams to score easily. That's how they got out of the rut. In the last 3 games, they held Brooklyn to 98 and then Chicago to 99. They've held 3 opponents in the last 5 games to under 100 points here. So they're playing good basketball. And again, 114, 115, 111 seems like that average if a team is going to score a decent amount of points against them, which Charlotte definitely has some guys that can score the rock. So that could be tough. But I do think that even if Charlotte gets to 115 or so, you could see the Celtics team, scoring I don't know. I guess I'm saying Celtics score 115. Charlotte's going to be closer to like 100 in my opinion. So I'm going to lean Celtics and the under in this one. I definitely like the Celtics a lot more than the total. I don't know if we have a final play on the total in this game. All right, Indiana hosting the Grizzlies here. Indiana getting 8.5 points on their own turf here on their own floor. Total sitting at 239. These two teams kind of are perplexing me as of late. This Memphis team, 8-2 straight up, right? But then 5-5 against the spread. in their last 10 games. So straight up, they're dominating against the spread. What are you doing here? And then you have the Pacers, who are 6-4 straight up, right? But then 6-0-1 in their last 7 games against the spread. They're playing really well at home. They do have injuries to note here. Miles Turner is questionable, but Tyrese Halliburton is out for them. They've lost 2 straight here, 3 of their last 5. 8.5 points is a lot to roll with here, but Memphis has won 8 straight games. They haven't covered in 3 games, so maybe they're due here. I'm going to lean Memphis. A couple injuries to note. Dylan Brooks questionable. Brendan Clark actually upgraded to questionable. Danny Green is out, and then Conchar is out tonight too. But, you know, they have their main guys there. So I'm going to lean Memphis. I don't necessarily think this becomes a final play, but I'm going to lean Memphis in this one. And then I also... You know what? I think we're going to pull the trigger on the under in this game. 239 is a fairly high number. I like the under here. Guys, before we move on to the rest of the games, I do want to talk to you guys about potentially becoming a channel member, guys. $2.99 a month is all it takes, and guys, it helps the channel first and foremost, right? Absolutely supports the channel, but we're doing our damn best to bring you guys that value. We have a model building series, so you guys can back your betting on research and analytics, and you can build your own model that you can use year in and year out and take those practices into any sport we're going through. I think we're 7 episodes into that. That's only available to ballers, which are the members on the channel as of right now. And then we're also producing our personal models every single weekday at the very least, sometimes on the weekends as well if time allows, but we're going out there and giving you guys the model that you can incorporate into your research. So consider becoming a baller today. You get an emoji next to your name, you get custom emojis in the chat and all that, like every other YouTuber does, right? But we try to provide some serious value, some different value with these models. And I know that some sites charge $100 plus a month to use their predictions and their projections and models. We do it all behind the, transparent. You can see behind the scenes, and it's only $3.99 a month. So consider becoming a baller today. Would be much appreciated, guys. And while you're down there, you're gonna hit that join button, hit that subscribe button as well, and like the video if you have not yet. We're racing towards 15K over here on YouTube. But let's get the train back on the tracks. We got the Raptors hosting the Hawks here. This Raptors team, 6.5 point favorites at home. Total sitting at 232.5. This Hawks team has been absolutely perplexing me as of late. These two teams have played a couple times already this season. First time was in late October. Toronto won 139-109. Then mid-November, Toronto lost. Atlanta won this one 124-122. So they've already split the 2 games thus far, but this Atlanta team on the road, you know what we say. They're the Atlanta Pigeons on the road. In their last 6 games on the road, 2-6 against the spread. In their last 7 games, 7 games will go 2-5 against the spread overall as well. Yes, they're coming off of a win to Indiana, only a 2-point win here. No Clint Capella, and then no major injuries for Toronto here. Toronto's won 3 straight. Now the competition hasn't been that great. Portland, Charlotte, and Charlotte. That being said, those 2 Charlotte games, they had a big spread, 7.5 to cover, and they covered it. So I'm trusting this Toronto team at home, even though they aren't, I'll say this, it's going to contradict what I've been saying, but they aren't the best home team at all in the NBA this year either. But I do think that I'm fading this Hawks team when they are on the road. So that means my lean is going to go towards Toronto here. And then in terms of a total, I like the under 232.5. All right, we got Cleveland, who is such an exciting team, taking on the Timberwolves here. Cleveland, 5-point favorites while on the road. Total sitting at 224.5. Mid-November, Cleveland actually lost this game, 124-129. I don't recall, but they may have had a couple key injuries there. Speaking of injuries, though, Karl-Anthony Towns still out for Minnesota. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. They've covered 4 of those games. They've been a favorite in plenty of games here. This Cleveland team now has been kind of up and down as of late, but I think this is a very good get-right spot for them to kind of get things going again. Minnesota probably feels pretty good about themselves. They're thinking, oh, we can compete with Cleveland. I think Donovan Mitchell and Cleveland cast come in here and absolutely sock them in the face. So I'm going to lean Cleveland here, minus the 5 points. And then I do like the over 224.5 as well. All right, we got Philly traveling over to Utah. Utah, 5-point dogs on their own floor. Total is 235 here. This Philly team, we got to go to the injury report every single game as of late because Embiid, Harden, Tobias Harris, everyone seems to be on there. Tonight, Tobias Harris is questionable with a knee here. And then for Utah, Mike Conley's questionable and Kelly Olynyk is out. Utah's won 2 straight games. Cleveland, we just talked about them, but they beat Cleveland by 2 points. They were 2.5-point underdogs. They won that game outright. They're 5.5-point spread favorites last night, and beat Orlando by 6 points. So they just barely didn't cover, right? 4, sorry. Can't do math. They just barely didn't cover is what I meant to say here, but they're still playing decent basketball. That being said, I do think that, 5 points is something Philly can totally handle here. 13-4 straight up in their last 17 games. I'm not worried about them on the road. In their last 5 games here, they're 3-2 against the spread on the road. They're kind of turning things around. And Utah's nothing special at home. Last 4 games, 1-3 against the spread at home. So I'm going to lean Philly here, minus the points. In terms of a total, that is a tempting total to pull the trigger on. I think it goes slightly under. Just have to figure out if that is ultimately a final play for us. But let's move on to the last game of the day, and it is going to be the Blazers hosting the Mavericks here. Mavericks underdogs in this one, +1.5, and then you think, okay, why is that? Christian Wood's questionable, but Luka Doncic nowhere on the injury report, so that's good. Damian Lillard upgraded to questionable, so he might play here. But is this Dallas team, are they just thinking, the book's thinking something that, maybe they're just not as good as... Not that I would say that they've looked. They've just won. They've been putting up a decent amount of points, playing well. They went to, did they go to overtime against the Lakers a few nights back? Whatever. High scoring game. Luka's playing well. I'm kind of confused by this line, if I'm being completely honest. My gut reaction is to lean Dallas getting points, but something tells me that there's something the books know about this line that we don't. So I'm going to stick away from this one. What I do like in this game is going to be the under 226.5. I think this is the type of game where Luka's getting to go, right? And Damian Lillard wants to push that pace. Anthony Simons is going to jack a bunch of threes, but Luka's going to say, okay, you know what? We got to slow this one down if we want to control the game. So whether the Dallas Mavericks win or the Portland Trailblazers win, I do think that this is the type of game where Luka can kind of dominate and control at a slower pace. And that's why we're going to lean the under in this one, 226 here. Last time they played was mid-December, and it did go way over. Dallas 130 to 110. And then they played, this is what I think it's similar to earlier in the year, 117 to 112. So they've hit over this line 2 times. I do think that this is a sign of where things come back down to earth and they hit the under here. But that is going to wrap it up for our plays for today, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. I think I've said it a couple times in the video. Hope you guys do enjoy, and we'll catch you guys in the next video, all right? Peace out.